Digital marketing for HVAC and home service businesses.
Strategies and stories from industry experts to help you succeed.
What's up, y'all? I'm here with Zahck Israel. Title of today's episode, If You Build It, They Will Come. Going from cabinet shop entrepreneur to skate shop to sandwich shop owner, how he leveraged his passion for woodworking into creating a life that sounds pretty awesome. Zahck, welcome to the show. If you could say your current business names and your social medias, and then share the business you also exited to help you get it all rolling.
Yeah. So the current businesses are Ollies Skateboard Shop and Solo Sandwich Company. And the business that I exited was Longview Cabinets.
Nice. And they can find you the Solo and the Ollies Instagram for both. Cool.
Yes, you can find us on Instagram. Solo and Ollies are on both Instagram and Facebook.
Awesome. All right. So I'm here with Zahck. Really cool story. I met him through his sister. His sister and I used to work together, and she thought that we should have a conversation based on his journey and the podcast I launched and highlighting business owners who are finding success in the service industry, in the home service businesses particularly. Zach's business was a local service business. He worked with a lot of contractors and home builders, things like that, to provide a specific service. I'll let Zahck tell you a little bit about what that service was and how it all got started.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So I had started a cabinet shop business about 10 years ago, which we ran for 10 years and then just sold it last year. And so that's what he's referring to as my cabinet shop business. Man, I'm kind of drawing.
No, it's all good. When we chatted briefly on the phone, the story you told me about how you started it, and then how it ended up taking off and all that was really intriguing, and I think a lot of people could learn from it and also be inspired to hear.
For sure. So I'll just jump into the story of how the cabinet shop came to be. So about 10 years ago, I was working at a really great job. It was at a car dealership. And I was in their parts department. I got angry at my boss and decided to walk out. I really had no plan. So walk out of my job with no plan other than a little bit of skill set of being a woodworker. So I went home, started basically making Pinterest projects because about 10 years ago, Pinterest was at its height. So making these projects, posting them online. Interior designers started to find me. So my business grew and we were able to sustain a business building furniture, building these projects. Eventually, interior designers would find me, and that would lead to doing larger build outs. We wound up doing like financial firms where we made the whole financial firm match. So it'd be like everything in the lobby matches what's in the conference room. So conference tables and tables for the lobby, just everything that they would need.
Yeah.
That grew so much that eventually somebody wanted to invest some money into me as a kind of turnkey builder.
Yeah. But before you got started with anyone else being involved, it was really Pinterest was the marketing source that helped you get in front of people and really change things for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was really just kind of looking what was on Pinterest and imitating what people were making on there.
Mm-hmm. What kind of narrowed your focus there to realize that was a good opportunity? Was it just to find some inspo and fun for yourself and you were on the platform, or did someone point you to Pinterest to get leads? How'd that come about?
I don't think anybody necessarily pointed me. It was kind of algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I wouldn't say that I was using Pinterest to get my leads as sales. More so I'd go on Pinterest, find somebody's ideas, kind of build that. And so it gave me a taste of what people were wanting.
Okay. Got you. You got to gave you like the ability to keep a pulse on what there was a demand for.
Exactly. So I could see what the trend was, and I just matched what I was doing and used that trend. And then I kind of built my Instagram, which is where I was doing a lot of my marketing and posting was on Instagram.
Okay.
So following what the trends were on Pinterest, those led to the that I made. And at the same time, as if I was making stuff, I also was drawing things just as much. So I would sketch that I wanted to make. And just by posting those, people would buy those, like a sketch. Like I could sketch a table and somebody would pay me to build it. It was very,
that's
very
awesome.
Unique.
Wow. That's so cool. I mean, sketching something and then, if you like that sketch, you probably want to bring it to life. And then having that sale come through where someone's going to pay you to, take your sketch and have it manifest to some woodwork. That sounds pretty fun.
Oh, it's very rewarding. It's cool to take something, nothing, and make it into something.
And I kind of jumped in and cut you off there because I was curious about the whole Pinterest and if that was a lead source or what that was. So thanks for clarifying. The Pinterest was more the pulse and the eye into what there was a demand for in the market, and then you were going from there and putting these sketches and products that you were building on Instagram and having people buy them there or hire you to do a custom job at like a law firm or a house or something like that.
Correct.
Cool. And then so someone enters the equation, interested in infusing some money into the business, doing an investment into you and what you're doing. How'd you meet that person?
All right. So kind of at the beginning of my woodworking career, I was very big into CrossFit. So it was just another gym member there. And so one of his acquaintance, gym member, you will, saw what I was doing and wanted to see if there was like a business model there or if he could help me out in any kind of way. So what I did was kind of looked around at what I had been doing and what it would look like if I brought employees in and what would that business be more at face value. And so it looked more like a cabinet shop, or that's what I could see. So I just model basically of a cabinet shop that fit the custom stuff that I was doing, so we could kind of do both. Proposed or got it all ready, got all my numbers together, and my wife talked to my mother-in-law about it, and she was, hey, I'll just give him the money, and he doesn't have to, have a partner, and he can just pay me back whenever. And that's what we did. My mom wrote us it's kind of like that story, I got a 10,000 and history. We did in our first year of having that $10,000 check, we got an $80,000 project. Was able to complete that in about 4 or 5 months and paid her back. We were off to the races.
Wow. So awesome. $80,000 contract in the first, it sounded like that was fresh out the gate and it took you 4 months to complete. And then, so that was 10 years ago, right?
Years ago.
All right. So $80,000 10 years ago, that's like $1 million contract. Yeah. No.
Agreed to pay me at once.
What's that?
That was the most anybody had ever agreed to pay me at once, for sure.
Wow, nice. And then how'd that calendar year play out for you? Did you have goals? Did you hit your goals? How were you when that $10,000 entered the equation? Did you have like a roadmap or anything like that you were trying to stick to?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so having the reason for the money was to be able to upgrade a shop full of tools. We spent almost all of that money on a shop full of tools. And then, so basically landing the project proves the risk worthy, and getting that first project out, the other projects just continued to follow. Now there would be some ups and downs after that.
Yeah.
So not every can't just, that was a lot of luck there. And so it tapered for a little while and it came back. And for the next 9 to 10 years.
So what's that like? Were you growing, year 2, year 3, were you growing, 10%, 15%? Did you have years where you grew 100% and then a year where you went negative a little bit? Like, I'd love to go on that journey with you a little bit over the 10 years.
Negative is easy to do. In the cabinet shop business, we rarely operate above like a 30% profit margin.
Okay.
Which means you start to fail, it's easy to watch that go away.
Okay. So about a 30% margin in this business.
Yeah, that was the best that I was ever able to, sometimes we'd hit more average, about 30%. So that first project went really well. I guess one of the things that so what happened when I got the money, I moved into out of my backyard shop into about a 4,000, 5,000 square foot shop. And that's where I did that $80,000 project. That was a liquor store here.
Okay. Nice.
So we work on that, and I really believe I don't have everything like exactly like by the years because it's been so long.
Yeah, 10 years ago, but
yeah. So after that project finishes, there was a little bit of a lull, and so like I got scared, and I actually moved my cabinet shop back to my house out of the 4,000 square foot building. And I was no, and so like because I didn't think that we were going to get any work because it was my first time to like finish a project like that, and then like I hadn't really did any selling while the project.
Yeah,
I was just on the project, and so worked through that project, finished it, and then honestly, it kind of tapered off. I had odds and ends, so we moved it back home.
Yeah,
back to the 400 square foot shop.
After a year, after 4 months, after
about a year of being there. So we finished that project and we stayed there for our lease year. But then when the lease came up, we went back home because we were nervous. My wife and I kind of stopped what we were doing, put it back at the house and rethought things. And no sooner than we got it back home, another local cabinet shop that I had been talking to as a mentor hit me up because he got too busy. And he had contracts he couldn't fulfill. Yeah. So I moved back out of the house into a 7,000 square foot warehouse. And for about the next 2 years, I operated alongside another cabinet shop as their kind of factory. And they would just come pick them up and install them.
You said so that lasted for about how long? About 7 years?
About 2 years after. That went for about 2 years after. So now we'd probably be about 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I was piggybacking off of another cabinet shop, essentially, while getting my own work and building up employees and really actually finding the rhythm in the cabinet shop world.
So at that time, are you still getting your own jobs and like going out and bidding work and you're taking care of their overflow, or did you turn into almost like a subcontractor for them for a period of time?
No, I was doing about 50-50.
Okay.
For selling my own work, and I got used to selling my own work and making sure that we always had jobs sold up. Learned some of those important things about not getting focused on like what was right in front of me so we could sustain. So that meant that I would get out of the shop more and I'd have to hire somebody to be in the shop. So I became a salesman. Yeah.
So you became a salesperson. Where were you getting your leads and stuff like that? Or were you cold calling?
So basically cold calling, like straight old school. So this is contracting here in East Texas. So I get in my pickup truck and go drive out to job site trailers with a business card and shake hands and promise them the world. And I literally did that every single day, basically for the first part of the career. I would start out my day that way. And that's how we landed them.
So you're going to like job sites. If you saw like new commercial building going up, if a new home in a nice residential area was going up, you just stop by and talk to the people working on the site and get pointed to who the decision maker was for that portion of the work. So, go ahead.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd find the general contractor.
Okay, find the GC.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yeah. And so that would be obviously one way that we were getting jobs was cold calls.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other amazing thing was I was using Instagram and Facebook for marketing for the company. The company was Longview Cabinets.
Okay. Did you have a website, like a Google profile? Were you doing all that stuff?
Never used the website, never used Google profile.
Okay. So all Instagram, Facebook, and the work truck.
Cold call, work truck. Yes, sir. So with social media, I would post the jobs that we were doing on there, and it actually got so, like, my DMs got so popular or too busy that I quit posting photos of the work because we would get overloaded with work.
Yeah. Wow.
By year 3, it had already became too much to post on social media.
Mm-hmm. So by year 3, you almost had an organic flow of work that sales and marketing wasn't as important anymore, but it was probably your quality of work that created fans for you and loyal customers, whereas a lot of repeat business.
Exactly.
Okay. So did those GCs end up just using you a lot more over time?
Oh, yeah.
And eventually, how did it go? So you said for about 2 years, you fulfilled about 50% of the work out of your shop for another cabinet company. How did that change? How did that play itself out?
Eventually, I think he was able to catch up. And so we continued to work together in other ways. I had a CNC machine that could cut out unique shapes, and so I would cut out basically parts for his cabinets.
Yeah.
Started doing that at some point. So the relationship stayed, but the work changed a little bit, and how we could help each other. So we helped each other for quite a while, but the actual building cabinets lasted about 2 years. Trying to think about.
This is awesome. No, I love all this info. So I'm caught up to speed up to like year 3. So then, like, I kind of asked. I know you probably don't have the numbers right in front of you, but year 3, you've kind of hit this stride where now you're able to get enough work in your shop to where you're always busy. You're not really looking for posting more or doing a lot more outbound marketing because the work needs fulfilled. And the shop who was sending you their overflow, that isn't necessary for you to take on anymore to stay busy. And now we got like a 6-year window where you're going to exit your company. And I'm kind of curious to hear, like, maybe what revenue number you hit at the end of year 3 or year 4 ballpark wise. And then did you have the goal in mind to exit and create a plan to do that? Or did the exit, I'd love to hear the story about how the exit came together and any numbers you can share with us about how that worked out. And then you already let me know how you moved on and got involved in some other projects. So kind of all that is next up for us I'm excited to hear.
For sure. So some numbers, probably the first 3 to 5 years, could say we averaged just under, like, we didn't really do a lot. I would say 200, 250
Yeah.
Would be around where we would be. Somewhere in there, we moved one more time. So that's probably 5 years ago now. So 5 years in, we moved one more time into a lot larger shop.
Okay.
And kind of really get going, we find some commercial work and just some really good home builders that were building several homes a year and giving them to us. The last couple of years, we were hitting just under 800,000.
Awesome.
And that was myself and 2 other employees. Some with my wife running a lot of the back behind the scenes.
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's incredible. So you, your wife, and 2 employees, just shy of $1 million in revenue. Great work. And you said something about changing shops. So you changed shops again. It sounded like you were in 7,000 square foot at this point. How big's your shop? So
we got to 13,000 square feet, which was way overkill. That was more of a because I could get it, I got it. I'm an artist I'm an artist first. I love creating art of any kind.
Okay.
So I saw to have an art studio and cabinet shop.
Makes sense.
Kind of fantasy factory, if you will. It was kind of the I'm a Rob Dyrdek.
I was just going to ask, was this Rob? Were you Longview's Rob Dyrdek?
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, I had skate ramp, everything. Yeah.
So you had a skate ramp inside the shop.
Inside the shop.
Epic.
Yeah, everything. We used to ride go-karts in the shop.
Go-karts in the shop. Okay, see, you got. I wish you would have. I wish you would have had 20 employees that like doing this. This would have been nuts.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked. Probably we were.
Oh yeah.
We were too loose to have 20 of us doing it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing is we were able to do that because we were a small company, and the guys that work for me, they really embrace that work hard, play hard. You know, they would work really hard to get to do something fun. They enjoyed it, the reward. So, so the cabinet shop, all good things have to come to an end at some point. And so a man an acquaintance that I knew needed some cabinet shop space to finish a project that he'd been working on. Yeah. So I invited him into the cabinet shop to use our tools to do that. And just in a few weeks, we built a relationship, and he made an offer to buy the shop. And so there it goes. And
so this is the 13,000 square foot shop. At this time, you're renting the shop, or?
No. Yes.
Okay.
I was renting.
Okay, so you're renting the shop. You have a lease. I'm not sure how long about would you say?
It was like a 4-year lease.
So you're in we
were coming out actually already in the year or the month to month. So it was easy to work with the landlord to transfer it straight over to him.
Oh, cool.
So most people like Longview Cabinets didn't even change. I'm just not there. This whole last year, I played consultant for him. Continued to be like a liaison to the company. But now it's been 1 year, so I'm completely done.
Yeah. So you exited about a year ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
January.
So exited about a year ago. Sounds like, how long did y'all work together in the shop? Like, you letting him use the space to finish some stuff? Like, how'd that come together?
I was just a few weeks.
Just a few weeks.
Yeah. And then in that time, he made the deal with me and we got it sold. I mean, that probably took a month to get done from I knew who he was, but officially meeting, becoming acquainted, and the shop was sold in about a month.
And then with a lot of the work that you were doing, it sounds like it was relationship based with these contractors that you've established rapport with. So you staying on board for a year to not destabilize that workflow, it kind of sounds like.
Yeah, that was the purpose of me staying on. Now, here's some transparency. It's been terrible this year.
Oh, wow.
Construction world. Just in East Texas, I don't know how it is the rest of the world, but in East Texas, last year was super slow. Working for the cabinet shop. And so he had one of the worst years that the cabinet shop had because one of our major builders, he's also a real estate agent. He just sold houses this year. He didn't build a single house. Where the year before, I built 10, like he built 10 houses and we did all the cabinets.
No.
And that's just one.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's the transparency is like, I actually exited perfectly.
Yeah.
Because I was fixing to endure a terrible year. Now, it may have looked different for me because I hustled different. So like once it wasn't my thing, like I gave him all my leads. And so, but I'm not going to go get creative on his behalf because now he owns the company. Yeah,
get it. You probably fulfilled whatever duties you had contractually to, not pull these customers and go do business with them elsewhere. Do what you can to make the intro and facilitate that continuing to go on. And sounds like you said this man who bought the business and you developed a good relationship, and sounds like it was a win-win all the way around.
Oh yeah. And he's still happy with it. He's going to do great this year. He's already got a lot of projects lined up. I think it may have been a lot to do with it being an election year.
Yeah.
And so it's an ironic thing, at least for timing of selling the business, that he did like have I feel bad, but it's not my fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rough year somehow.
And then
we took a lot of in there.
And I've been, learning about and intrigued by, the idea of how people find a buyer for their business, and then how the process to negotiate terms goes. And like, I've heard people go down the path of getting financial company involved that builds a valuation, and then there's sometimes a earn out period or a buyout period. So you get some cash up front and then more over time. Sometimes the buyer's taking out a loan from the bank. You're getting paid out all at once. What was the negotiation process like for you? Like, he made an offer. Did you go seek counsel and have some math done by some business brokers or lawyers? I'd love to learn a little bit here.
Yeah. So he actually was working with the SBA, our local small business administration here. And they'll do like an evaluation of any business for you. And so I basically provided them all of the paperwork that I could and let them evaluate it, because I genuinely, that evaluates businesses. I don't know how to, it's priceless to me. So I let them evaluate it. And then they came up with a number, which of course, like, that's just a number. And what do we do? So basically he agreed, or they evaluated the business. He gave me a number, and then I negotiated back to him. And so I think, trying to think back.
So was there like a conversation about like how much profit was made in the last couple years versus revenue, profit margins, and then a multiple on the profit? Was it maybe a multiple on the revenue that y'all were talking about for the sale price? Curious what those maybe drivers of the conversation were.
Man, I wish that I had better details for this.
All good.
To be honest.
No, we're good. So it sounds like the bank gave a valuation, and then y'all negotiated from there, man to man.
Yeah, that's basically what we did. And he was able to come to the, like, after I knew that number, I gave him a number that I wanted, and he agreed to that number basically up front with we divided it basically. So we did a big number up front and the payout over the year contract of me being a consultant for him. Yeah. Basically. And so it's like the contract was wrote that he gave me an upfront sum, and that secured him the business. But then to make sure that I got the amount of money that I really wanted, I negotiated another year of being paid every week
Mm-hmm.
To get to the number that I actually wanted.
Makes
and
sense.
We didn't get rich, man.
All
I'll tell
good.
you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always throw out the beginning of the podcast like any numbers are helpful, and then I know not every situation is public knowledge. There's NDAs sometimes when things change hands like this, and a certain amount of time needs to pass by. So like I try to lean into the percentages, and a lot of times if the people involved in the transaction are allowed to share numbers or are comfortable with it, that's great. And if not, I mean, you let us know how the revenue was rolling. There's definitely already some transparency and context, I think, for the listeners, and to learn about this particular scenario going through the SBA and that valuation process. I feel like I'm in the story, man. I feel like I'm informed.
Okay. Good.
I'm stoked to hear about. So you say you didn't get rich, but I also know you started some other businesses. So you were able to exit and start some other businesses. That sounds like a pretty big win in my book. And then I see the skateboards behind you. I know you let me know you're going to tune in from your skate shop. So tell us about the skate shop. Tell us about the. I know there's a sandwich shop you got rolling. I'd love to hear what you got involved in after the cabinets, and maybe some of it got started during the cabinet business at the end there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, opened up a skateboard shop. Let's back up here. Yeah, so got to open up a skateboard shop. Man, I want to start over.
All good. We'll edit it. We can edit some out. It's all good. We could take a break if you want. Get some water. Move the body. It's all good.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to stand up. I'll be right back.
Yeah, cool. Hold on 1 sec. The break was perfect timing. My wife just decided she wanted to go in and out. She couldn't go without her special coffee mug. She just couldn't do it.
Very nice.
He cheers you on the coffee, babe.
Oh, nice. Wait. I want to get a proper cheers. Okay. Thank you.
You might as well bring me a cup of coffee, too, if you're all right with that. Thank you.
Sure.
Love you. So, yes.
This is my favorite coffee cup. It's like this pink color.
Let me see real quick. Pull back by you a little bit in the middle. Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's just like, I have a bunch of stuff this color because I'm silly. I do artwork and all my art is pink and turquoise.
I was just going to ask, okay, so artwork, peach, is it a pink or is it like a peach?
Pink. I do a lot more pink.
Okay, you do a lot more pink.
Yeah.
Was that one pink? I have these weird blue blocking glasses on right now.
Yeah, it's pink.
Cool.
Okay, well, we'll jump back into where we were.
Yeah, we're the skate shop. Stoked to hear about the passion projects that got energized there.
Gotcha. So, along the way, having the cabinet shop, in the city I live in, which is Longview, Texas, I've been here my whole life and been like a skateboarder, BMXer kid, and historically had to drive like 2 hours to a skate park. Well, about 5 years ago, my best friend, Brian Dotson, got with our city, got everything lined out so that way we could build a skate park in our hometown. The city gave us a tennis court, and my best friend and I, were going to be the builders of the park. So it just worked out that we could put everything through the cabinet shop that I had at that time.
That's awesome.
We used the cabinet shop as a place to basically pre-assemble ramps, and then we would transport them out to a tennis court at a park that we had been given permission to use the tennis court. Wanted to mention that. So there's the builders were myself, Brian Dotson, and then there's a pro BMX rider that lives here in our town. He's competed in X Games since like 2004.
Yeah.
His name's Morgan.
Morgan what?
Morgan Wade. Morgan Wade.
Morgan Wade. Okay. Coffee time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so Morgan, we kind of had him as like the lead designer and lead builder, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to make sure I give him credit because he's all right. So
you got Morgan, we got Brian Dodson, and we got Zach. Say your last name one more time.
Israel, Israel.
So we got Sam number one. Who's you got? We got Zahck Israel, we got Brian Dodson, and we got Morgan Wade.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all on the build. Sounds like a crew.
Yeah. So we get to build this skate park, and so here we are. We're all at a local tennis court. A bunch of 30-somethings, building a skate park in a town that's never had a skate park. People kept coming up and saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna get back into skateboarding," and just so much hype around it.
Mm-hmm.
I realized there's nowhere for them to buy a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took it upon myself to open up a skateboard shop.
Mm-hmm. How many years ago is this that you opened it up?
So this is just over 4 years.
Okay, 4 years ago. Cool.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
Working on our 5th year anyway.
Yeah.
October next year will be the 5th.
Nice.
And so we're building the skate park. I decided that I wanted to build out a skate shop for the city. So how that goes down is I was already existing somewhat in our downtown space, which our downtown space has become like revitalized as it's kind of a trendy thing for a lot of main streets to do currently. And so that process was really going down about the time that we were opening up our shop. Mm-hmm. So I came down here, found a space, but in looking for a space, I had went and asked a customer friend. So it's like a bookstore that I had built out all the bookshelves for this bookstore. I went in there and I talked to the owner, and she let me know that she didn't know of any space available, but that her husband, who I had already met through doing work with them, and we actually went to school together, just never talked.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so him and I, or basically she says he wants to open a skate shop. And I was like, no way, he does too. And so I found a building in that same day, literally told the guy I wanted to look at it, scheduled an appointment for the next day. Mm-hmm. The lady I talked to, her husband, and I met the morning before we were going to come look at this building. I told him my plan, and he was like, I'm in. Mm-hmm. And so he came to look at the building that day. And in 2 months, we had created an LLC and opened the skate shop.
That's epic. So open for business, right?
Open for business, concept to completion, from raw, empty building to...
Oh, cool.
And
you got a little ramp in there?
There's a ramp. There's a stage back there. We do live music.
Mm-hmm. This is epic.
I'm actually on the wrong side of the counter right now.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's a vibe. I like it.
So
I got to come there and have a cup of coffee and get on that ramp. There's a skate park right by where I'm at now. So I'm tuning in from Kihei, Hawaii. And there's a pretty epic skate park. I'm gonna send you a video. I'm gonna walk it. You can see it's like right on the beach. It's wild.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. So yeah, we got this thing opened up, and
how's business? Was it a hit in the community? People using the skate park that you built? Are they coming into the shop?
So when we opened up, that was just about 4.5 years ago, right in the height. We all know what was going on. Everybody was not at work, and so they they were looking for things to do, and it made it really easy to sell a skateboard because people wanted to get outside and do something.
Yeah.
Another product that my business partner was smart enough to put in here was disc golf.
Okay.
Disc golf at that time was the fastest growing sport in the world. So I will give you these numbers because this is my thing.
Oh, cool.
I'll let you know how all the numbers worked. So I had $10,000 coming to me for building the skate park. And so my business partner, Chad Nevels, matched me with $10,000. So we opened up the store with 20 grand. So that meant that we had about $7,000 to buy inventory with once we got through all of everything. So year one, open with $7,000 worth of inventory. By year two, sitting on $70,000 worth of inventory with no influence from the outside. I mean, no extra money, all earned in-house.
Nice.
So that we 10x'd it in 2 years, our inventory.
Sounds like you got options in there.
Yeah, we're doing awesome.
Cool.
Now, fast forward about another year and a half, and the decline starts.
Okay.
And that was probably just kind of like the romance of the shop.
Post-COVID downturn.
Yeah. All of the issues that caused. I mean, it caused a lot of. Just prices went up. Export prices went up. A lot of skateboards are products, and they actually weren't selling as many. The skateboard companies weren't selling as much as they once were. They had over ordered. They paid too much, and so like our prices had to go up and things like that. So post COVID definitely it kind of slowed down. So we've had a pretty rough year, and so it's been a learning curve because I've never done this real estate thing, not real estate, retail thing. Never done this retail. And so it's like figuring out what product is not paying rent and getting it out of here so that way I can get liquid cash again to buy things I need to sell. And so I had to do that a lot.
Put the stuff that isn't selling on sale, try to get your money back and buy stuff that you could sell to profit.
Exactly. And so now it's just doing that. So along the way, here in Longview, we do a thing called Art Walk. It's a quarterly Art Walk event, and that just means that our entire downtown area, we invite artists to come set up on the sidewalks, and there's typically in between 150 and 200 artists that do these quarterly. And so our shop is on the main drag. I didn't want to have just another canvas artist in here, so I started hiring bands. And I would pay bands to play at Art Walk. Well, we would have, my capacity here is probably 30 at Art Walk. I'd have 100 people in here. It'd just be packed all the way out to the sidewalk. Like you couldn't walk in anymore. You just had to poke.
You had to stand outside and soak in the vibe.
Yeah, exactly. And so we did that that's how we did it for the first 2 years, because I said we were making money and we were making money. And so we could pay these bands no problem to come in and do free shows. So we built an audience of people that were looking for live music here at Ollies. And now we have taken it to where we started doing paid shows once a month, and we bring in 3 to 4 touring bands. We try to not repeat bands, and we've had a lot of success now.
That sounds fun. Yeah, that sounds fun.
So that would be so I'm telling you that because that's how we've paid our rent for the last 4 months. Have been you do the show and you make your rent. And then the whole rest of the month is just sitting here trying to sell skateboards.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Waiting for the next show. And so it's been really fun, honestly. I've had some, are you into music at all?
I'm into music. I listen to a lot of just like music with no words in the background while I'm working. And then, yeah, I'd say maybe, that's probably 80-90% of my music listening.
Like if you know like the genre shoegaze, it's kind of like a punk rock thing.
Okay, my wife would know it.
Yeah, we've had a band called Slow Joy. They're like 130,000 people on Instagram and probably bigger on like bands like that come through here. They're from like New Mexico. It's really neat.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll probably text you to ask you to remind me a couple of the options to listen to drop into the vibe that's bringing the 100 people to hang, and
jump on I recommend you go look at our Instagram.
Okay. Sure, look at Ollies Instagram. I'll throw it down in the show notes for sure as well, so for all the listeners to check out. For
sure. Okay, so let me move past that. So we get the skate shop, and it's a lot of fun, man. I can just go on and on. But
you got another business too.
Got the skate shop going, and that wasn't enough, and so there's a bar here in town that actually my cabinet shop built all the millwork for. We built the bar top. We did all of that. It's down at the very end of our main drag, and that bar wound up becoming like, this sounds bad, but it's like my home away from home. I would go there every day after work and just grab my one beer before I actually went home. I had perfect attendance for the first month. Myself and the general contractor had a battle to see who could hold the longest.
Yeah.
So
you and who had a contest?
The general contractor for the bar.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So him and I both were working on the bar together, and we got to go in, do all the wine tasting for the first 2 months before they opened. Yeah. And then and
that's just work. That doesn't count for the one beer.
No, not at all. Myself sound bad.
You're not making yourself sound bad. I mean, all the listeners like to have a good time. Everyone has their different preferences and vices. And like you said, before work hard, play hard. You kind of reminded me of I won't call him out specifically just because I didn't get his permission yet, but you reminded me of a really intelligent, kind man that I know who always says, I had 2 beers. I'm going to go have 2 beers. And there's people in our family that know for sure every once in a while there's more than 2 beers, but he's never agreed to having more than 2 or have had more than 2.
That's me.
He's sticking to the script.
I invite my friends to the bar for a beer, and they're like, "You getting another one?" And I'm like, "I'm getting this one, the one I had." Okay. Anyway, this bar is a great place, great thing for our community. It already had a really cool restaurant right next door to it called Case's Kitchen. It's a local scaled down version of a restaurant that had been here for 75 years, still family owned. But they were not open on the weekends, and they closed at 6. And so I was like, man, I could put a sandwich shop up here in this little front corner, this little empty building. And so that's what we did. We built out a really cool little sandwich shop. We call it Solo Sandwich Company. That stands for South Longview Sandwich Company. And we're able to provide food to the bar where you can scan a barcode at their bar, and there's actually an inside corridor that we can walk your sandwich into the bar, and you just think you got the bar. Didn't know any different, or you can stop up front, order it, and we'll bring it.
And the food's usually way better than the bar food when I've been to these places. Like there's actually a bar I go to in Phoenix. I didn't even know it was a bar. I just saw the food truck always outside, and I'm like, oh, I want to go over there. And I go over to the truck, and they're like, oh, just go inside, you scan it, and then I see how it all came together, and then the food was bomb, and I'm like, oh, like I understand how this works. Like they do their thing well with the bar, and now over here they're doing their thing like for real with the food in the kitchen. And I've stopped there a handful of times just on my way home from work, like, oh, I need to have a snack before I go home to my wife, so I'm a little bit less irritable.
Yeah, that's basically the concept that we built there. as well as we built a really nice grab and go model. We have, I don't know, there's several office buildings, our courthouse is right here in our downtown area. So we're able to service all of the people, that are wearing suits and ties basically that work every day. They walk. It's pretty neat because we're at the end of the street. And so like you can see it's like a herd is being released. Like somebody opens because they're coming to my restaurant or to the one right behind me at lunch every day.
Do you have, what are your hours at, I think it's called Solo? What are the hours at Solo?
So we're open from 10 to 6, Tuesday through Saturday.
All right. So lunch, early dinner, and y'all are calling it a day.
Sir.
Nice.
Yep.
And how long ago did did Solo open?
So it is still young. It's about a year and a half.
Mm-hmm. And how? Wait. So say that again. Sorry, I cut you off.
We opened in June about 2 years ago. Yeah.
So June 2023.
Yes.
Okay. And how's this business playing out? Are you hitting more friction than you thought? Did it kind of flow pretty smoothly, just like you anticipated with the gap in the market? And now you're kind of working on growth, or would you say, it's been surprising in any way or anything notable?
It's been surprising. It hasn't been, we're not doing amazing. So we're having to learn, man. It's brand new. I've never really operated a restaurant. And volume is like one of the biggest things. So with Solo, we have like a very nice captive audience because we are in this bubble downtown. And we're supported hugely. But I'm in a town of like 80 to 90,000 people, and probably less than 10% of them, that's probably less than 10% know about us. The only people that are coming to my restaurant are the ones that are already down here. And so we don't quite have the volume that it really, really needs to be supported through walk-in or, out the door. So we've had to become creative and learn how to like build up our catering orders and basically doing other things because it's not standing alone currently by itself.
Got you. Can I interject something real quick? Cool. So it sounds like both with the retail, with the skate shop and with the sandwich shop, the skate shop, you mentioned how things went great, the COVID boom and all that. And also you timing it with the skate park. So like, there was ups and downs, just like you pointed to in the cabinet business that worked out great. You weathered the storm and you figured it out. I see you doing the same thing with what's rocking here. And then in the skate business, in the skate shop, you have your shows now once a month that cover the rent, cover the overhead probably. And then the rest of the month you're selling things, turning a profit and getting in the green. And now in the sandwich shop, it sounds like you're finding that same flow where hopefully there can be like one or two things that you can count on for sure are going to come through, cover the overhead, and then you're selling sandwiches to get in the green to the walk-through traffic because you probably have a pulse on what exactly that's like now as far as who already knows about you.
Yeah, so we're definitely having to find like other ways.
Yeah, and the food business, the margins are even a little bit more shaky. From my experience, my family's been in the food business all my life growing up. And it's like my mom, for example, she has a meal prep and meal delivery business. And everyone was raising their prices, but she's just hanging out here with her old price. Just, her margin was just getting eaten up. And she didn't want to pass that on to her customers just because she cares about them and she's feeding families and she's a mom and like all of this stuff. And then finally she let it go for a while and she didn't raise any of her prices all through COVID until last year, I think she raised the prices. 2024, she really waited it out. There was, I'd say, little to no pushback. Like everyone's really understanding that food's costing more. It's costing them more to eat at home, so it's definitely costing them more. But I will say, my mom probably grew and kept a lot more people through that time, keeping her price stable. So I commend her for doing it. And then once the dust settled, she was like, okay, this is where I can be.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've had to do similar things. Like we've had to raise our prices to kind of stay. I mean, a box of tomatoes was $15 and we recently paid $80 for the same box of tomatoes.
Yeah.
But we've raised our prices some to kind of try to help with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said there's another restaurant right behind us.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we can do at our restaurant is we've learned how to bake bread.
Mm-hmm.
Bake bread for every sandwich that we make. We only
Mm-hmm.
do that for one of our specials, which I'll get into those.
Uh-huh.
And so at the sandwich shop, I have a chef. Like I don't actually work down there at all. So
Mm-hmm.
I have a trained chef that runs the restaurant for us.
Mm-hmm.
He partnered with the restaurant behind us to make their focaccia bread,
Okay.
their chicken salad sandwich that
Mm-hmm.
they make.
Yeah.
And so on their menu, it says focaccia bread by Solo Sandwich Co.
What do y'all use the focaccia bread for?
We don't even use it.
Oh, wow.
We literally are baking it just for them. Every once in a while, we'll make like a fancy Italian that we'll put it on our like on a focaccia we make.
Yeah.
Don't keep it every day for ourselves. We're only doing that for them.
Gotcha. Cool.
So they also make their own croutons where they were going to Sam's and buying their hoagie buns or hoagie, and then drying those out and making the croutons from those. Well, we've recently picked up doing those for them, and so that's a standing order. They sell a bunch of these croutons.
Yeah.
To the tune of about $8 a week that we sell them in bread for that.
Wow. So you similarly to in the cabinet business, now you're finding overflow work. You're making great use of your equipment, your infrastructure, and you seem to be very much like a connector because you're making these relationships. They're almost like joint partner ventures. Okay, cool. And then with the business that you exited, Longview Cabinets, I asked about website, Google Business Profile. You were able to get by without doing any of that. I'd imagine with retail, that's not the case. And you have a Google Business Profile, probably have an Instagram, you probably have a website. I'd love to hear about that for Solo and how that's playing a part.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the website, we've got the profile. We're on Facebook, Instagram, seamless online ordering. You can order through any of the social medias, link you all back through to ordering. We even have a Google manager. Are you
tracking where all the sales come in from? Like if someone places an order, do you know what channel they came from?
I don't know as well because we're paying a manager, and he's the one that he moves all that stuff around for us to make sure that our monthly paid ads are being targeted to the right people. But I'm hands-on.
Gotcha.
But
Makes sense.
It is being done. Like there's somebody monitoring it and making sure like we're not spending our wrong. He's
totally. And what about
go
ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, he's showed me before, like, the numbers and like, he's like, here's how it clicks through. But like, I watch it, like, okay, I believe you. And it looks like it's converting and it does convert. Yeah,
totally. And what about for the skate shop? You doing any of that similar stuff?
So the skate shop, we just rely, it does not have a website. That's probably, it's Achilles heel and needs a website. I don't know why we haven't got one.
Yeah.
But we use the Instagram and Facebook and word of mouth. That's really what we're doing for marketing here. Man, it's my marketing strategy is probably way different than everybody else's. And a lot of it's because of this is me trying to be very humble. A lot of people in Longview know me.
Yeah.
And just posting on my personal social media, like I can generate a lot of traffic, and like I've gotten people just know that we're here.
Yeah, I mean, you've been into a lot of cool stuff. I mean, you're I gotta say, the people who I know from growing up starting their own business, they're interesting. It takes an ability to manage relationships and create trust between people to grow a successful business. You got to create trust with the employees, trust with your customers, and then once that's established, it needs nurtured and maintained and taken care of, where people are comfortable to know you got their back, and hopefully they got your back. That's what it takes to win. And you being able to do that repeatedly year over year, that's what in marketing I would call, if there's no trust, there's no sale. There's no conversion. There's maybe there's curiosity that, hopefully eventually maybe someone buys once, but in the sandwich business, if they buy one sandwich, it costs you probably more to market to that person than the profit. So you got to market to people to get multiple sandwiches on the regular, or people are buying for groups, stuff like that. So I get it. I see you in leveraging your strengths, and it's awesome to hear about.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit more for marketing, or what I would say is like my marketing thing that's so untraditional, and you let me know how you feel about this.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I've been able to like bring the whole like downtown area together more, and what I mean is so we just did our third what we call Ollies downtown takeover.
Yeah.
So that's the skateboard shop partnering up with the city of Longview and shutting down literally most of our downtown area. And that I get to build a skate park in front of my shop. I own all the ramps. And we assembled this huge skate park out in front of the shop. There's a giant hill that goes the other way beside the shop that they shut down and allow the kids to like bomb on skateboards. Yeah. And then we just kind of skateboarding all over downtown. But at the same time, on this big hill, the city organizes their own thing called a pumpkin roll. You bring a pumpkin and you roll it down this hill, and there's about 3 city blocks that you could potentially roll. And last year, somebody made it all the way past all 3 of them.
Wow.
It rolls further than you could ever imagine. And so the city gets real estate agents to sponsor targets. Okay. And that's the thing, is like wherever your pumpkin goes, like that real estate agent has to pay out the furthest, whoever
sponsored it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're paying for it. And so it's
yeah, that's epic. I just thought about you being you're like the I can't remember the actor's name, but there's a movie called Field of Dreams, like if you build it, they will come, and it's like about baseball.
Yeah.
You're that for Longview for skateboarding. If you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. You did it with the skate park to get the skate, and then the skate shop got rolling. Then also now I'm hearing with these events with the city, you're building it again and shutting down the city. They're coming down. That's really awesome. And then it actually worked out that way with the cabinets. You built some stuff and they showed up. So if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, that's it. I like that.
That's probably, I think we found the title of the episode. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah. How do you keep them here? That's the question.
How do you keep them here? I like that too. We'll weave that in somehow. We're coming up. I'd say we got a little bit more. We'll wind it up. But I want to bring any thoughts that I don't want to cut you off abruptly. And I just know we agreed to an amount of time. I want to respect your time. And also, so whatever message you have for the group, for the community, if you have a little bit more in the story, feel free to wrap up. Just let me know how you want to spend the next 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, we can just get to wrapping up.
I think I need to hear the specials, actually. I want the solo specials.
All right. So at Solo, I'm gonna have to say his name. Josh is my chef down there, and Josh, man, he's awesome. He has made birria tortas.
Okay.
Which is like scratch made birria with oxtail, like the legit way. We do a Cuban sandwich that the pork shoulders, soaked in orange juice for like 3 days, and just over the top. People from Miami have came here and said this is better than anything at home. Our Cuban sandwich. We've done.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, we got all kind of stuff. Okay, behind us, the restaurant behind us is a Cajun food place. So we got shrimp from them and made shrimp po' boys on our own fresh made bread.
Oh, nice.
Coleslaw and all that we made scratch. So yeah, we do a lot of those really just crazy fun specials there. Very curated.
Cool. I love that. And like right now, are you hiring at Solo? Are you hiring at the skate shop? I always like to throw that out there because you're an awesome guy, and someone gives this a listen, and they made it through the hour with us. God bless them, and they might be curious. I always just like to ask.
Not hiring currently.
Got you. Yeah, you all set? Cool. So right now, people can come find you at the skate shop, Ollies, and the sandwich shop. Solo, you're not always there, but you're in the community. They know where to find you if they're in Longview.
Oh yeah.
If they can't find you, they probably just ask someone and they'll point them over your way.
You're right.
I love hearing that. Cool. Well, I'm gonna leave it to you. Send us off. Some advice, some encouragement for the people.
Yeah. I always like to tell people or remind them that you're more powerful than you think you are.
True that. Yeah. You're more powerful than you think you are. Thank you, Zach.